Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and we are here with Merry Mayhem. Okay, so looking at the options and the amount of time I usually have to put into this, I'm going to still stick with bronze. I would love to do silver, but I couldn't even finish bronze Halloween Mayhem. That's how much time I had, which is to say not a lot. Considering the way this week has gone for me, ugh. So let's get to it. A few things I'd like to talk about today, but before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please, oh no, I don't do Patreon anymore, so I don't have to do that part. So yeah, Merry Mayhem. And with the revamps of how they've been doing Mayhem, I think that it's a great way to help engage more players. For those of you who have been playing Entropia Universe for a while, you all know what I'm talking about. For those who might have come in the last like 3 or 4 years, when I first started in EU, Mayhem was a competitive game. We weren't just fighting the clock, you were also fighting the other players, which made it very difficult. And the RNG on how points are distributed made it even more difficult. In fact, this is the only place that I would say that somewhat justified the argument that a lot of players have that EU is a casino. I still disagree with them, but the argument here would be understandable. So we'll go with athletics. Because it was about the RNG. Now, even today, this still has quite a bit of RNG play in it, but the regular returns, I think, still overcome that particular argument that it's a casino, because you're either getting skills or you're getting loot, even if you don't get both. And you do get both, but I mean, even if you don't get like a huge return of one over the other. Because most people want to see the money, right? Well, you need the skills to get the money. So, you can always chip out and sell the skills. Which some people do. Some people make good money by just grinding out skills, chipping them out, and then selling them for massive amounts of markup. So, I mean, I think that's the play for a lot of people. Like, if you really want to pull in PED, like if you want to see if you can't withdraw, I think the play for you is play for a year, get your skills up, chip them out, throw them on the market for an excessive amount of markup, which there isn't a skill out there that doesn't go for absurd markup. Like, you can sell 5 PED worth of any skill for like 1,000% markup. And someone's going to buy it, and then rinse repeat. Frankly speaking, I think that's the play for a lot of people. Now for me, I play for fun. I play for fun, I play to make content. This is just kind of like my chill game. Now I've been playing, I mean, as you all know, I've been playing Far Cry, I've been playing Armored Core. But if I need like a chill night, you throw a TV show up on the screen on your other monitor or on your other computer, and you just sit back and play this. That's what it's all about. Returns are already fairly good on these. That's kind of impressive. I don't even remember if I repaired after my last video. Okay, good, I did. I'm like, did I repair the last time? I had to go in and liquidate some of the things, of the loots that I'd been getting, because I was pretty much out of PED, which happens. Speaking of which, how the market's doing? I mean, Crystal Palace is doing okay. The 10th of December, and it's only... Well, they only pay out weekly, and I think we haven't... Tomorrow would be the payout for the next week. Whoops. No, not what I wanted to do. There we go. Yeah, so there's only been one payout for this month on this. And it looks like Arcadia is doing all right, too. December is always hard on non-Calypso-based investments, quote-unquote in-game investments, because you have Halloween Mayhem in November and then Merry Mayhem in December and January, which peels a lot of the player base away. But we make it work. So I'd love to get a reaction from all y'all about the new format my channel's taking, having the Entropia universe videos as the pre-records, this is kind of the old format where I have Entropia as pre-records and I live stream a different game. But I've been doing shorts lately, and that's an interesting change. Like, I've never done shorts before. They do seem to be getting some engagement, and I want to thank all of you for that. But I'd like to know your opinion. Like, do you enjoy the shorts? Are they worth me continuing to do? Are there specific shorts you'd like to see, like from certain properties that I've been working with? I would love to know. The thing about this is one thing that I have noticed about being a content creator is that in order for engagement to happen, you have to do things that are engaging. And I don't want to go out there and do some clickbaity shit if I can avoid it. I mean, my review-ception could be argued to be clickbaity, but I actually did review the video, even though I'm kind of an ape at using OBS. So I'm just curious as to what you guys think of the changes that I've made now that I've come back to regular content creation. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying going through, like, just recording when I play and cutting pieces that I think are interesting and throwing them up and seeing what you guys think. Because we are on this little adventure called life. Mayhem in particular is one of my favorite events. Merry Mayhem has always been my most successful. Part of it's because I think it's the longest Mayhem. I think they give you a full 4 weeks to actually participate and try to get through the content. They did increase the expectations of Merry Mayhem over, say, Halloween Mayhem, because, of course, you've got 4 weeks to complete it. But the other thing is I've always found that the returns appear to be better than other events, and I don't know why that is. I think it might just be my experience. And for those of you who participate in Mayhem, I'd love to hear your opinions on it. But it's one of those things where, like, I've only ever gotten a true solo Hoff in Merry Mayhem. I know for a fact it's happened once. I think it might have happened twice. The second one was definitely not as good as the first. But it has been where historically I've been the most successful. I get more globals out of Merry Mayhem. I get more Hoffs out of I've only gotten Hoffs out of Merry Mayhem. I mean, not counting group Hoffs for taking on, like, the Dunwich Horror. Because you get into that, there's like 300 of you. And although the Hoff is like 13,000 ped, you only get 70 ped of it. That's how that usually works. So yeah. Then I think my build is particularly suited for fighting Daikaba. And part of that's probably because that's how Daikaba were one of the first critters I farmed back when I started. I mean, you can go back to some of my old videos. And I know you got to do some digging. I recently discovered that I've got like 1,200 of videos out there now, which is surprising to me. But if you go through some of my older content, you'll remember that I used to do a lot of hunting of Daikaba down by Twin Peaks. And that's actually a good, for those of you who are new to Entropia, that's a great place to hunt. Like, you put on your starter armor, you pull out your starter weapon like bookends, or I really recommend spending the money on the Z12 Barbarella. Like, spend the money on the Barbarella. You get a ton of ammo, you can hunt Daikaba all day, it's extremely efficient. You get the starter kit, you get the Barbarella, you get that starter armor. You got everything you need. And just go hunt Daikaba. Or go to Boreas and hunt Kerberos. And either one of those, you'll build skills fairly quickly. And you won't be running into places, a lot of critters that you can't really handle. Like, will a level 5 kind of run your fade if you just started in the game? Yeah, level 5 is going to run your fade if you just started in the game. But 2s and 3s, you take a little damage, they build up your abilities, and you get to work on your codex, which I honestly think is a huge improvement over the old system, and Legacy players can back me up on this. Spending all that time at Camp Icarus hunting punies until you killed 10,600 of them, that took a long-ass time. Like, that is grind. And you never knew what the next goal was going to be. Like, I finished off the final of the punies, and I was ready. I'm like, okay, the next one's going to be for, like, 20,000 of them. And it's like, congratulations, you're done. Go find a different critter to hunt. And I was like, oh. Well, that's cool. I mean, does it mean that hunting punies really doesn't move that particular codex very much? Yes. It does mean that getting... using punies as a means to move around your Caudaderus Codex challenge, it's going to take forever. But I think it's far more even-handed. Now, could Mindark have left the puny challenge in so that you could take the time, so you would be incentivized to take the time to build that skill up on punies? Yeah, probably. But punies aren't particularly efficient. And I always found much more success overall hunting either the Kerberos over at Boreas or the Daikaba at Twin Peaks. So if you're new, those are the two prime hunting grounds. You can also, like, during Merry Mayhem, if you've done the starter kit, you could always give Mayhem Annihilation 1 a shot. It's not a bad idea. Oh, no kidding. They're only doing Annihilation? Oh, no, because the other one is in a different area. They used to have Mayhem practice, too, where you could have, like, groups of 4. They did away with that, though, it looks like, which kind of surprises me and kind of doesn't. Because Mayhem practice was kind of a way to... You couldn't get any credit for it in the challenge, but you could farm boxes like there was no tomorrow, which a lot of people did. And, to me, I thought that was a good compromise, because you could just go in there, there's no pressure, you're not in there to, like, win the big one, but you just want to hunt Mayhem critters and get boxes and farm loot. And I don't know if it was because of the changes to the program that Mindark did, because it's no longer a competitive sport, so to speak. But it looks like they eliminated Mayhem practice. So, which is, it's unfortunate, but I get it. I do. Oh, cool, 15-minute skill game with blades. Wola's dropping pretty good. Like, I had forgotten just how much other stuff drops during... Like, most Mayhems, the only thing that really drops is shrapnel, and occasionally there's, like, one other component that drops as a rare. And I'd forgotten that these guys drop, like, a boatload of wool relative to other Mayhems. So yeah, that's my advice for beginners. The I've been talking to some folks who have heard of EU or like are fans of economic simulators, and I've been pointing EU out to them, and I always give them the heads up. It's like, look, it's on CryEngine, the graphics are dated, the gameplay is fairly basic, but when it comes to overall, this is a great game. And like I said in my last video, I talk about the community where this is arguably the least toxic game that you'll find in the MMO space. I mean, are there toxic players? Yes, of course there are toxic players. There isn't a game out there that doesn't have toxic players. But out of all of them, I still think this has the best community out there. Like, you don't find Baron's chat here. Speaking of which, I was chatting with a coworker yesterday. So I'm actually producing this Sunday morning before releasing it, which is unusual for me, but it happens. But I was talking with a coworker yesterday because I had to work yesterday. And we were talking about the toxicity in video games, and I told him, I'm like, this game has like almost no toxicity to it, and that shocked him. Because he knows what MMOs are like. Like, he's played, you've got MOBAs like LoL, which are highly toxic. And then you've got like Heroes of the Storm, where there's toxicity, but it's not nearly as bad as like a LoL. And then you've got World of Warcraft, where generally inside of your own guild there's a little toxicity, but as soon as you talk to people outside your guild, the toxic level's like turned up to 110. It's just, ugh. Whereas here, people are just chill. Like, we're all here, we're all on our grind. Everyone's chatting. It's like the good luck is always like the affirmative farewell. You know? It's just awesome. And I have to admit, after this week, that conversation was desperately needed because, oh my God, guys. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I did not get home before 9 p.m. That's why I'm doing this on a Sunday morning. Wednesday, I had a work, like, we had our Merry Mixer, which is a function that the chamber does, and my job, part of my job was to go to it because we were co-sponsoring it. And so I had to be there, and I was there until like 8:30. So I didn't get home until 9:30 because it's an hour-long commute. And then Thursday, I had a friend come up. I finally got my Masonic ring. So I want to shout out to Cedric. I know you don't watch my content, but in the event you run into this, thank you for making the extra drive just to come up to deliver that. So, of course, we had dinner and we chatted for like 2 hours. It was great to see him. I don't get to see a lot of my friends much outside of the SCA context. And this year I've had the privilege of seeing 3 of them outside of the SCA context. That's not fair. I've seen 5 of them outside of the SCA context, 3 of which were at a wedding. 2 of those were getting married to each other. So yeah. So it's been a lot of fun, like being able to talk to folk that you're used to seeing in one context and seeing them out of that context really makes a difference. Like, I don't know, it's weird, it's different. It's different. Like, if you're used to, like, if you have someone you work with, or someone you're in a nonprofit with, and you only see them while you're doing those jobs, and then suddenly you're just hanging out at an event that's not related to it, it's like you see a whole different side of that person. Because, you know, how they dress is going to be different, and how they act is going to be a little bit more casual. And so I had a great time. I've had a great time, like, meeting people that I know in the context of particularly the SCA, and then meeting them in mundanity, and it's great. Like, it's just fantastic. So I think overall that has been one of my best experiences this year. And by next weekend, I should have my Masonic ring, finally. It's a 1932 vintage ring that I purchased off of the son of a deceased brother. And he wanted the ring to stay within the Masons. But he couldn't just give it away, of course. So what he did is he's like, look, this is the value of the metal in the ring. That's all I'm asking for. Like, he's not charging for the intrinsic value. He just wants the material value, which was dramatically lower than what the actual value of the ring is. And so I'm like, hell yeah, here you go. The problem is that ring is a size 12, and I'm a size 8. So I brought it to a jeweler that I'm comfortable with, and or I do business with, and I'm like, here's the ring. Is this something that you can do? And they're like, of course we can. Here's the cost. I'm like, okay, cool. And yeah, so I'm expecting it either Friday or Monday, because the expected finish date is between Friday and Saturday, but I travel up an hour. That the jeweler is like a block and a half from my employer, and my employer is an hour away from me, and I don't think I'm going to make that trip on a Saturday if I don't have to, because I already put too many miles on my car. Although Knights Templar inspections next week, it would be really nice to have the ring for that, and if that's the way it goes, then that might be the play. Kind of sucks, but sometimes it's worth it, you know what I mean? So yeah. And then Friday, the LP had our reorganization, which I actually went to. Like, I didn't zoom in like I usually do. I actually went to it. And that was a lot of fun, seeing a lot of people in person I don't get to see in person very often. I did end up running home immediately after the meeting so I could get my live stream done. Started that a little late, which those of you who watch the live streams or the replays say that was the case because I mentioned it there. But I almost said no to the live stream just so I could hang out with them longer, but I was exhausted. Like, I came home from work yesterday, and we were going to go get our Christmas tree, and I was like, I have to nap first, and I slept for like a solid hour. And it wasn't one of those light naps either. It was like I actually stirred twice, and I fell back to sleep. That's how exhausted I was. So that's why this is getting done on a Sunday morning. So yeah. We're going to take out our friend the Daikaba here, and I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm really happy. I know this one was kind of all over the place. I apologize for that. I don't generally do videos last minute, but sometimes that's the way it works. So yeah. We'll take him out, and then we'll head for the teleporter. Cool. How do we do? Okay, we cycled about 200 ped worth of ammo, and we got some almost 10 ped worth of random loot. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support, and we will see you in the next one.